Something's wrong.
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have zero audio, which is strange because I couldn't even hear that music playing. So something is off for me,
What is happening?
which I don't know what's off, but I have no audio. So hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Hold on. It's always something we can fix.
Right. Right.
Talk to me.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I'm having an audio issue, of course, on my side. Hold on. Start talking, Mikey.
Hello. Can you
So
hear
I have
me?
no way of knowing if they can hear. Hold on, let me ask. Um, um,
There's an echo.
I'm gonna ask someone that's there because I have. It's weird because I had audio, I could hear you, and then I had no audio. So I'm gonna give myself headphones again.
Nat, is
You
there
said
still
it's
a
all good now, but that's great
yeah,
for them.
Nat, is there still an
Unfortunately,
echo?
ladies and gentlemen, I hear nothing. I have zero audio. So hold on a second, Mikey. Which is weird because I asked it to send it to my speakers on my laptop and I still have no
Okay, good.
sound. Well, Mikey,
Welcome,
everyone can
beautiful.
hear you. I just cannot hear you. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. I'm going
Yeah,
to
that
call
probably
Brian. Hold on a second.
won't work. Well, how's everybody doing? I don't want y'all to get bored just sitting here staring at us. I hope everybody's day is going good. I now have no audio from Keisha, so that's interesting. Um, she might have muted her mic though while she's talking to Brian. But yeah, how's everybody's day going? Drop in the chat what you guys have been up to. How's everybody's Friday? Yeah, she might have muted. Yeah, she might have muted her mic, babe.
Okay, Mikey, everyone can hear you but me.
Okay, well, wait. Yeah, we can hear
Oh,
you now. You were, yeah. Yep.
okay. All right. Jesus help us. Jesus. This is it. I'm hiring a producer. That's it, Mikey.
Right. No, we need an IT guy.
Yeah, I need somebody to handle this for me. It stresses me out. Well, welcome everybody. So sorry, I have the youth on one side and me, the old person, and it is what it is. Normally, I don't have these kind of problems, but today I do. But we welcome you all. We're gonna dive deep into this whole Trump scenario. You want to get us
Yes.
started, Mikey? Tell them what
Yeah.
we're going to talk about, what we're going to explore.
All right. So I believe there are some things that we still need to cover that have kind of just been coming out recently. About like with the raid, when we look at the case of this anonymous leaker to the Wall Street Journal that has apparently a list of everything that was recovered from Mar-a-Lago, which we know how it is with anonymous sources. They're usually less than trustworthy. Um, so
I pulled the warrant, so I actually have the 7-page warrant.
oh, nice.
And we should be able to share it on my screen.
Okay, yeah, we should go through that because I actually haven't gotten an opportunity to look at that warrant yet.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the judge. What else are we going to talk about?
And then we're gonna kind of go a little bit of a different route with it, and we're gonna go a little, conspiratorial, I guess you could say, with talking about that there could be a lot bigger implications to what is going on with the FBI walking directly into a trap that could eventually lead to a moment of discovery of a lot of evidence and information that doesn't necessarily have to do with what they were originally going to Mar-a-Lago to find. I think in my eyes, just like to give a little seasoned taste of it, I think that this is some 5D chess that we are witnessing play out right in front of our eyes. I think that they completely walked into a trap that was set for them, to make for an opportunity of discovery in a court of law and to get a lot of information placed on the public record that they have been trying to prevent from being there. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. Um,
Oh, you're just gonna scave the top of it like that?
we're getting into some Q stuff, y'all. We're gonna talk about some Q stuff. We're gonna try to explain
No,
it.
no, not we, Mikey, not we, Mikey. Mikey's going to talk about some cute stuff. Mikey knows where I stand with this stuff that makes my head hurt and all
Right. It's very deep.
these
Yeah.
fairy tale things that are in the wind, and I have to just assume that they're real. Mikey knows that I'm not good in that space. So
Well,
with
you
that
don't
being
necessarily
said,
got to assume, right? There is a good amount of things that do show that there are certain ongoings that do point to this. I don't ever stand and say that this is like 100% what is occurring, but through everything that we're seeing, through statements that we see from like secretaries of state, like Mark Fincham in Arizona, talking about military tribunals, we know where the conversation about military tribunals originally, like,
okay,
started on,
see,
which
go.
was through Q. So
There you go. There you go. You're already trying to get there. All right. Well, let's start at the top. Let's
yeah,
talk
let's start
about
at
the
the
new
top.
stuff. Let's talk about the new stuff. We can pull up the warrant. We can look at it. Um, we can kind of go through it. Look at the list of the stuff that they picked up. Um, like many have said, I did talk to Kramer when this first broke. Um, and he seems to think that because they're in such a panic mode that we may see Trump get arrested.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I
so
yeah, I think
go,
that we could.
yeah. So that's kind of where Kramer's at with it. I've heard some other things, but let's see if I can get my, little bit of technology to work here. Oh, look at that, Mikey. Oh.
Perfect. Perfect.
Ooh, look at that. So how do we make this bigger?
Yeah, I
So
was gonna
we're
say I might need you to read through it because I can't really see it
well, hold
that
on. I
well.
want to see like can't we like change the view so like we're the little people and it's a little bigger? Oh wait, let me see
Well,
because
that's
it's
how
on
it is
my.
on my screen.
Is it big for you?
I mean, it's not big enough to where I can read it, but like we're two tiny boxes on the side,
Well, yeah, I
and
see that, but I was hoping that I can make it a little bigger, but that just might be the view of my screen, just how it looks on my screen. It's at full size. But, anyways, the first page of it is just the notice of filing of redacted documents. But essentially, I wish I could. How do I see? This is my biggest problem. You know what it is? It's this Mac, too. Um, I want to zoom it in, but I think it's the way the actual document is on my laptop.
hmm
Oh, watch this. If I could probably, I was going to say I could drop us off, but then you won't probably be able to hear us. But, anyways, this is the search and seizure warrant. It's just like the legalities of it, the date, who signed it. Bruce, the infamous Bruce, signed it on 8
Brian said he's gonna
5.
call Kramer on me. I can't.
Oh, here, let me bring the chat so I can see it. Okay. So, anyways, so gives the attachment is the property address. Um, and as we know that they were only allowed to search like his office, all storage rooms, all other rooms and areas within the premise used or available to be used for him. Um, like when boxes and documents would be stored, so they couldn't go into like
Right.
guest rooms and things like that.
What about
Um,
Melania's wardrobe? Do you think that they should have that?
no,
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 I don't think so either.
no. They couldn't go into like private guest suites, things like that. It's so funny. Take him to court. Let's go. That's what Brian just said. Um,
Facts.
and I think that's a lot of it too. Is that like at this point, if if he's guilty, let's bring it out. Like, why are we keep talking about it? So then
Right.
this part is the receipt of property. So as we can see, um, and you see how they were very like vague. They just give you like box labeled A14, box
Oh
labeled
yeah.
A16. It was just very vague. I should have sent you a copy of this. So then when you get down where it just says the description of items, um, it says executive grant of clemency, Ray Roger Jason Stone Jr., info Ray President of France, letterhead box of documents, various classified TSSCI documents, potential presidential records, potential binder of photos, handwritten note, box labeled A1, box labeled A12, box labeled A15, miscellaneous secret documents, which I think is interesting, right? Miscellaneous secret documents.
Right.
Yeah, box labeled A16, miscellaneous top secret documents. I don't know quite how you can have a miscellaneous top secret document, but okay. Um, thing. Box labeled A17, box labeled A18, miscellaneous top secret documents, box labeled A27, miscellaneous confidential documents. Again, not sure how that works.
Right.
If they're miscellaneous, how confidential could they be?
Right.
Bo-
Right.
Box labeled A28, miscellaneous secret documents. So, what do you think the difference is between secret, confidential, top secret? We should talk about that.
Well, okay, so normally when we talk about top secret, that would normally be like the highest form of like classified information, right? That's what top secret
Mm-hmm.
usually like implies. When we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about secret, that could be like a lower level of classified. And then secret is just subjective. Like to say something secret would just be like a subjective statement because like it's how are you going to say that it's objectively a secret document if this is found within a public resort? Like I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, and I think the reason for this also is a way to kind of put you in a place of we can make it whatever we want at a later date and time.
Right. Right.
So let's dive in, Mikey.
All right.
I know your brain is hurting with information.
Man, I think like I say, I think that this is one. Let's get one thing straight: is that anybody who's president has the power to declassify whatever they so choose, right? They have that power to be able to declassify certain documents and things like that. Turn your camera sideways.
Oh yeah, so it makes the whole box go. Oh, you don't have your rotation on?
Oh no, hold up. That was foolish. That was foolish. There
Let's
we go.
see.
That
Uh,
better. That looks
nope, it got
distorted.
worse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
go
looks
back.
very distorted on my end. Guys, I'm
Oh
using my
well,
phone. I do not have a good camera on my laptop. It's very grainy. The one that came with the laptop. So I'm like, just work
it's
with
fine.
me.
It's fine. So,
Okay.
anyways, go ahead.
But no, so the president has the power to be able to declassify any kind of documents in which that they deem as necessary. So what the FBI could very well be doing is trying to claim that these documents are still classified even though he declassified them, which would be why they're in his possession. Because once something's declassified, it becomes public information. It can become public knowledge. So I think that that's probably like the biggest thing. When we're talking about secret documents, again, I don't really know how to nail that down because I don't know what they're trying to imply with something being a secret, like a secret
Okay,
document.
Mikey, let's just stop. Let's just have a real conversation. Hillary Clinton had how many emails?
33,000 bleached and acid washed.
Okay, nothing. No one was invading her home.
No,
No one was
after
doing
she received
some
a subpoena,
investigation.
right? After she receives a subpoena for those specific
Hmm.
emails and things that she decided to go not only delete but acid wash and bleach. That's, I mean, any if anybody in here were to have done that, after receiving a federal subpoena on that information, you would go to jail. Not even just like small time jail, slap on the, no, you're going to jail. If they
Okay.
subpoena your emails and you delete them, that's obstruction of justice right there. You interfered within a case or an investigation that was ongoing and prevented from all of the evidence from being able to be found.
Okay. Hunter Biden laptop.
Hunter Biden's laptop. Something that I find really interesting about that is the day that this raid took place was the very last day for the FBI to release the information on the Hunter Biden's laptop and to put it into some kind of a either like a congressional record or something of that nature so that the public would be able to view it. Now nobody's talking about Hunter Biden's laptop anymore. It's all about the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago.
So we also know that the infamous Bruce, he's connected in a lot of ways.
Yes.
In a lot of ways.
Yes.
So I mean, you figure he literally took recused himself from the from being the judge on Trump's and with Hillary Clinton, and then what was it? In a few days, he was signing off on a search warrant.
And do you know why he himself said that he was recusing himself from the case?
Why?
Because he even admitted on record that he could not remain impartial in the case, which shows he has a clear political bias against Donald Trump.
Exactly. But it's interesting, Mikey. I always find when you and I have these conversations, you're connecting the dots, and it's always this like circle. It's always a circle. It's always the same players, just in different games.
Right.
And I always find that interesting. So Hunter Biden's laptop is no more. We're not discussing that, even though we can't even view the contents without being arrested or probably searched by the FBI. Oh, right. Funny how that works. So aside from that, that's fine. So now go ahead. Let's move along. Now that we've done that.
But yeah, no. I mean, this is just it's everybody's been saying it, but I really have to reiterate this. I mean, this is the most egregious way of showing that the DOJ and the intelligence agencies have been completely weaponized through political opposition. A circle line through the bottom.
Agreed.
Right. And that's real quick, just with what Daphne said. That's one of the things that I love about the aspect of the symbol of Q is that it's like you said, everything is a circle. It's the same players. It's the same revolving situation, just in a different fashion. But when it comes to Q, there's now a pathway out of that circle, right? You have a circle and you take a pathway that leads out of the circle, right?
Here we go.
And so
here we go, Mikey.
I just find that really interesting. That's my little thing about that aspect of it. But no, so my thing is, right, if we all believe that there's a strong chance that Trump could be arrested, one of the things that Q had posted was they had said that the first arrest will shock the world. Well, what would really shock the world more than the individual that is aligned favorable on the right, and that we believe that these have all been witch hunts against him, and then individuals on the left that have been chanting in the streets for them to lock up Trump, right, for the past 6 years? What would be the biggest implication for that individual to be arrested? Well, it would be the entire world would be shocked. And what a better way to have the entire world looking at America more than they already are. And it would be the perfect opportunity for, again, like I've been saying, discovery, for evidence to be put forth, for people to finally see the in and outs of what has truly been going on within the country, right?
So I have a question, since we're talking about it. So, we have to tread lightly because we're not trying to get taken down. I mean, we'll just say this. If YouTube was to go down right now, you guys could go directly to Dumpster Fire TV and it'll still be going. So we're not censored there. We're censored in the mainstream areas, but
and also let me say, just for a clarifier, these are theories We are
Yes.
not putting this out here as
As
though it is
fact.
100% factual
Yeah. You're gonna
evidence or factual ongoings. These are simply theories. This is the own human mind just working through things and saying, hey, this could be. We are not saying that this is what is happening.
so with that being said, but yeah, but like I said, if something happens here, like I said, you guys can go directly to Dumpster Fire TV. We
Right.
have no censorship there. We can say whatever the hell we want.
Facts.
But with that being said, the interesting part about all of this for me is he's been out of office now 2 years, right? So, like, realistically, what do you have that's so top secret, that's so important at this point that we have to do a raid, right? We have to do a search warrant
Right.
to get in there. Not
Right.
only that, what's so top secret and so important at this point that you have to go through the archives.
Right.
So, like, so in the grand scheme of things, none of it makes sense.
Well,
None of it
well,
makes
also,
sense.
well, also, right? If this was so important, right, to be done, why would you wait 18 months since he's no longer been president to execute or to even attempt to get a warrant or to file a subpoena? And then why would you wait 3 days after you've been given the warrant, right? So it's been signed off on, so it's all green lighted, good to go. Why would you then wait 72 hours to act upon that? If this is so important of documentation or information that was just floating around or unsecured as it's been described, right? Why would you wait for that?
Okay, why is if he's so guilty and such a bad person still walking free? Oh, I mean, the same reason we saw Hunter Biden with his dad getting on. What was it,
Right,
Air Force?
right.
Just saying.
Well, this is the other thing too, is it's like it's a there's a clear line of logic that can be seen, which is that all of these people that are really, really, really trying to go hard after Trump clearly were not having the same kind of energy when it came to people like Hillary Clinton, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden with his quid pro quo, Obama back with all of his scandals that he had that were kind of just brushed under the rug for 8 years, right? So it
Mhm.
clearly shows that there's a delineation between the two. You can no longer say that, oh, everybody's just working hand in hand with each other and this is just all a show, right? It just, you can't have it that way. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You can't say these people are all in it together. It is not long for people to start questioning what is happening. I would agree. I would agree. I think that the timing is perfect. I was kind of talking to Keisha about this when we were on the phone. Was that if these things would have happened, say right after Trump had no longer been in office, it would have been a lot easier to spin the narrative that he was a guilty man, especially fresh after January 6th, all that stuff, before all that information had come out. It would be a lot easier for them to spin that narrative. But with the amount of time in which that they waited, I mean, this MAGA movement is not slowing down. We're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as every day passes. So to wait 18 months just seems it just seems dumb to me. And the reason why I say, right, that it seems dumb is because the only reason as to why they would do that is if this is a last ditch effort. This is the final arrow that they have in their quiver to try and shoot towards President Trump. And one of like my favorite quotes from Trump is, "I will take all of these slings and arrows that are sent against me because they're not coming after me; they're coming after you. I will gladly take all of these upon me rather than allowing them to be put upon you." Talking about the people, and I
Yes,
think
but
that's
we're
very
in panic
powerful.
mode. We're in panic mode, right?
Right.
So we're now seeing people rising up, people waking up, people asking more questions, people saying, hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. We're coming into November. It is August.
Right.
What better way to try to taint the water than to strike up this nonsense that we have right now?
Yep. Well,
So
and
if
it's
you
also,
go ahead,
oh, my bad. Okay, I was just gonna
go.
say it's also very funny that we just had the elections for the nominations for the
Yes.
Democrat and Republican side, and every
Yes.
single one of the individuals that Trump endorsed clean
Sweet.
sweep every
Yes.
single one of their elections.
Yes. So we're in panic mode, right?
Right.
So if we really stop and we take a step back and we think, okay, we've had COVID, we've had Ukraine, we have monkeypox, we've had all these little distractions, right? Um, but yet none of the things that really matter we're talking about.
Right.
So if we had to say, this is what I think this is about, where do we go?
I mean, I would say that, like I said, I think that they
Omar, yeah.
are. Yeah, Omar. Yeah, Omar did win her nomination. Um, but no, I would say that these things are, like you said. I mean, it's very clear to show that they're in panic mode. Well, what are they panicked about? Well, let's look back at Trump's presidency and let's see, one, what did he run on the whole time? He ran on the narrative of draining the swamp,
Mhm.
right? Well, let's go through the step-by-step process as to how you drain the swamp. Okay, so you take 4 years to put specific individuals into places of the spotlight of the public eye, get them to expose themselves, such as Fauci. Fauci was picked by Trump, right? Well,
Mhm.
why would Trump pick Fauci? Well, what do we know about Fauci now? How many people didn't even know who Anthony Fauci
He
was
was.
years
Mhm.
prior, right?
Yeah.
So that's one aspect to look at. And then after you spend 4 years exposing individuals and you realize that because this is a long game, is what we're witnessing. This is a long game. Chess is not a quick game. Chess, not checkers. Checkers
Right.
is a fast game. Chess is a very much longer and more thought out game that relies on strategy, right? So the first 4 years, you put people in positions, you expose them. You realize that not enough people, but people are starting to wake up, right? And
Mhm.
then what you do is that then when you realize not enough people are really waking up, you allow them to walk through the darkness and realize that they are within the darkness so that then they can see the light
Right.
on the other side, which is what we're experiencing with Biden.
Right.
Again, expose the people for who they truly are. Allow them to be put in those positions so that they can show everybody, right, how corrupt and how dangerous it is to have politicians that are hand in hand with the globalists, how dangerous that is for our country. And we're seeing that, and we're seeing more and more people starting to go, wait a minute, what is happening? Right?
Right.
This is a common occurrence on both sides of the political spectrum. Everybody's asking, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
Like,
But
because
but you know what? When you say that, Mikey, it's like the January 6th, FLUPA. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Theatrical performance that we have going on.
right,
Now you're
right,
starting to see people getting sentenced, right?
hmm,
And like slowly, like these things are kind of like, oh, let's appease the people, let's give them a little something, because that's our
right,
biggest thing, that people are not getting their like due justice, and they're just like sitting there with nothing happening. So it's all these things. I mean, when we talked about impeachment, they tried to impeach him twice. Like when you start to compound all the little things that they've tried to do, if people can't see, no other president has been attacked like this.
yep,
So there has to be something they're trying to keep from us.
right. Not even Nixon, right? And that's a really big
Yes.
implication to say, because Nixon, I would say, was probably, next to Trump, the most controversial president that we had had within our history, where like there was a good amount of investigation into him. There was a good amount of scandals that were released about him and were public knowledge and weren't shied away from. But when you look at the extent of from Nixon to what they've done to Trump for 6 years, y'all, 6 years, like that shows there's something more to what Donald Trump is trying to do that they are vehemently trying to prevent. I mean, they would rather expose themselves for who they are by blatantly doing these things rather than just saying, "Oh no, we can just let that fizzle out." Clearly they're scared of something. And again, what I was getting at was, well, what are they scared of? Well, with him wanting to drain the swamp. So we go through the first 4 years of exposing,
Mm-hmm.
the next 4 years of allowing the people to then expose themselves, right? When I'm talking about like Joe Biden and things like that.
Yes.
And then you also have allowing the people, the people, to being able to recognize the corruption for what it truly is. Well, then you move into the next step after exposing these people, which is accountability, right?
Okay.
So that would be the next 4 years of Trump from 2024 to 2028 would be accountability. What have you done to this country? What crimes are you going to have to pay for? And how much evidence do we have to point to that? Well, I'm pretty sure we can all answer majority of those questions, right? The crimes in which that they've committed is crimes against humanity and crimes
Correct.
against not only the country of America, but the people thereof, right? uh, the amount that they'll have to pay for it is treason. Anybody? Right? What is the charge for treason? Oh, that's death. The
Yeah.
death penalty, right? Well, where would we hold individuals that are committing the biggest crimes against the country? Well, wouldn't that be considered to be like terrorists, right? Well, where do we house terrorists? Oh, Guantanamo Bay. Well,
Right.
what president said that they wanted to keep Guantanamo Bay open after these ideas were floated to close it down? Oh, well, that's
Which one?
Donald J. Trump, right?
Uh huh.
And then you see Biden gets in office, and what's the first thing that he tries to say? Oh, I'm gonna shut down Gitmo for once and for all. Well, no, you're not, because when you say that, Gitmo is then expanding, right? Building a whole new courthouse. They're building a new building to house classified evidence, and they're expanding the workspace for the individuals that are going to be put there. Well, who are they preparing to be put there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like to go down the trail of saying that individuals have been executed or anything like that, because I don't want to say that, because I believe that that will sow complacency. And if we look at the CPAC speech that Trump just gave, this is not the time to be complacent. This is the time to be loud. This is the time to say that we know what you guys have been doing. And this is the time to stand firm in our convictions and say, we want accountability. We are
Yes.
going to either get accountability, or we're going to take our hands and we're going to throw the game board off the table, because we're not playing anymore. We're not playing. Those are the two options that we have. And I truly believe that the second option can lead to civil unrest and things in which that, if you guys seen the episode that we talked with Kramer about, can lead down a very, very dark path for the people. And I believe that knowing what we know about what Trump is doing to expose these individuals and call them out, clearly he has to be backed by some kind of a powerful entity that would be able to do these things, right? And be able to make sure that it
Mm-hmm.
is strategic. Oh, like military planning, right? Right.
Yes.
So, so then at that point, I think that our military would do everything in their power to prevent these pussies are snacks. But knowing that, right, our military would not put the people of the country in a position where they would harm themselves or harm others, right?
Mm-hmm.
That does not align with what our military stands for. So the only option that you have left on the table is, like I said, a game of chess, a strategic game of chess, where you will allow the enemy to make their moves, and you've already been able to think their moves through, right? Because the best chess players are the ones that know what their opponent's going to do.
Yes.
If you know
Right.
what your opponent's
Or
going to
move
do,
ahead.
right,
Right.
exactly. If you know what your opponent's going to do, you will usher them directly into the checkmate, and it's game over, right? And so,
But when you
what I
say that, I can see that, right? So you
right,
say that, I can see it. But on the flip side of that, like Snacks would say, these pussies are on a witch hunt and they're not finding any witches.
right,
I just want to know, how far down the dark road do we have to travel before like the light cuts on and everyone's
right.
just standing there?
Well, see, and I feel like that's kind of where everybody's at with the question, right, is how long or when is this going to happen, and things of that nature. And I think the biggest thing that I always tell people is that we have to realize that this isn't necessarily these things just occurring, right? These things
Right.
aren't just happening. We're just now
Right.
aware of it, right? So it's
Well, I
like,
will say, hold on. I will say that this is probably the first time in like history we've had this much information exposed to us, like on
right,
this grand scale of madness, right?
right,
But okay, but even with that being said, Mikey, I mean, there's a lot of people turning really quickly. There's a lot of people coming over. There's still a lot of people wandering off the road, getting hit by the car. Like, it
right,
says, and they still drink it. There's still people doing that. So
right,
for me, that makes me a little bit nervous, right? And like, if you think about civil unrest, like there's these idiots, they don't know what they would do. I mean, they don't know that they need to wipe
right.
their ass when they shit unless somebody tells them. So
But like,
I'm just unclear, like really, like what is it going to look like?
yeah, so what I would say, right, is that I would say that there's always going to be those individuals that will be stuck in the cave until the
Okay,
cave is destroyed, right? You can't, because you can
okay,
no longer be stuck in the cave once you destroy the cave and you're forced to see this reality that has been around you the whole time that you have rejected to yourself, right?
Mikey. There's a
So,
sitting president that was put in there, wasn't even elected. He was put into there, whose
right,
son has an entire laptop
yes,
full of nastiness,
right,
and people are worried about what they pulled out of Trump's safe.
right, right.
We have a whole person who's dead and another person who's been convicted. ajsrantroom.com. You can get
Yes.
my t-shirt, ajsrantroom.com, and my hat. Whoop, whoop. Okay.
Yeah, make sure
Anyways,
you
back
guys
to
go
this.
get that merch. That
Sorry,
merch is super nice.
AJ. And so it's like I just totally like throwing off the whole vibe of me
Shameless,
talking.
shameless
It's
plug.
like
Shameless plug.
shameless plug, but that's what it is what it is. Um, okay, I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna let you talk. Go ahead,
No, no,
Mikey.
no, you're
And
good. And I agree with that, right? And again, for those that are still within, to keep with the analogy of the cave, for those that are still within the cave when it comes to Hunter Biden's laptop, the way that you destroy that cave is through, not only it takes time, because individuals, like, look at everything that's happened. Not only the laptop is like publicly available, even though they say that you'll be investigated if you look at it, right, the
right.
information thereof, which is the same fear tactic that they did with Hillary Clinton's emails, mind you, right? You had Chris
And that's
Cuomo.
all it is fear. That's all it is,
Right.
fear. Yes.
Exactly. You had Chris
Mhm.
Cuomo on CNN say, uh, you know, all of this information is illegal to be able to be in possession of. So you're going to get all of the information from us. Nah, no, I'm good on that. I'm going to go find it for myself, right? And the biggest thing that they do is they like to instill fear, because fear is the only way that you can control human beings. Is through fear
Well, the
you have
masses,
control.
the masses, not just human beings, the masses is the only way to control the masses is
Well, not
fear.
just the masses, right? If I tell you,
Mhm.
so like let me break it down to a micro level instead of this big macro level. If I were to tell you, Keisha, with like all seriousness and like looking in my face, you can tell I'm not bullshitting, and I tell you there's an anvil over your head, there's a gigantic weight over your head that is going to drop and it's going to kill you at any possible moment. If you don't, like, if you choose not to find evidence to prove me wrong and listen to me blindly, you will have fear instilled in you, and I can then tell you how to move or what to say to prevent this
Right.
anvil from dropping upon your head. But the
Okay.
second that you look up and you realize it's a lie, I hold no control over you anymore, because you realize that what I'm saying is false. The fear isn't there anymore. So fear is the only way I feel like that you can control human beings on a micro level as well as on a macro level when we look at with the masses. So if people stop allowing them to instill fear in us to look into these things, right? to
Yes.
uh to say, oh, I'm afraid the FBI is gonna investigate me if I were to look into this. How are they going to investigate? Let's just give a small number, 50 million people. That's a very conservative number for individuals that are aligned with the Republican Party and that are, looking already into certain things and want to find truth. How the hell is the FBI ever going to accomplish that? They're not. They cannot come for us all. They will never be able to come for us all. This is
Right.
exactly like what is talked about in the Ants movie. If you let one ant get over on us, then they'll all get over on us, and they outnumber us 1,000 to 1. Think about ants as people and the government as those grasshoppers that were trying to control the
Yes.
ants. It's exactly the scenario in which that we're in. So stop allowing them to tell you to prevent yourself from finding this information out to be true, from finding the pictures of Hunter Biden's laptop that directly implicate him. Stop allowing them to say you can't look at Hillary Clinton's emails and the communications thereof and the implications that align with that, as well as theories such as Pizzagate and things of that nature with human trafficking and pedophilia at the highest levels. Right? Stop
Right.
allowing that to happen, and they have no control. And that is their biggest fear. So
But
if
that is
we
why
can,
I think they held the information from the
right,
search warrant.
right,
It was control, right?
right,
So,
right,
and that's why what they listed was very vague. Still
right,
some control, right? So we're
exactly,
gonna appease the people. We're gonna give you this, little bit of food. Here you go. We're gonna tease you with it. And then in the meantime, that's our distraction as these elections are coming up, right?
right,
So everything is just everything is nothing. And I keep saying it, smokes and mirrors, like the circus. You're looking up when you should be looking
right,
down.
right.
And
Yeah, with the
and that
lions, I like that.
yes, with the Lions. So it's like that is where we're at right now, right? So if people really take a step back and they say, wait a minute, like none of it makes sense. It's been 18 months, they take forever to tell us what's there. We all know when anything happens of major, a press conference is done immediately. Then we have that weirdo press secretary who keeps saying everything that comes out of her mouth is, I'm not going to speak on that from here. I'm not going to
Right,
speak on that from here. I'm not going to speak on that. She's completely useless.
right. Yeah.
So
Then what are you going to speak on?
yeah, she's going to speak on there's been zero inflation in the month of July. That's what she's going to speak on. I'm just saying. Her
And
and Bill November.
how are we going to get that with passing an $88 billion bill that does nothing but increase the taxes of every single class tenfold?
But we've been doing that. Everything we've been doing is it's literally a distraction. It's
Right.
literally to keep us in a cloud, right? In a puff of smoke. That's literally what it's been about. So for me at this stage in the game, and with everything that's going on with Trump, and as we begin to lay all of this out, Kramer told us when we talked to him that he doesn't believe there'll be an election in November.
Yeah.
So with everything we're seeing currently today, with the situation with Trump, I even saw some people talking about this whole Anne Heche thing and how she has this movie coming out about trafficking, and now this happens.
See, I was trying to look into her because I wanted to see if there was something like that, because her whole situation with her car crash and then them
Yeah,
just pulling her off life support, that was all very, very weird to me. I did not
yeah.
know that.
They're still scheduled for it to release next month, September. So with all of that coming out, everything happening, um, do you think literally um, that maybe it's possible we really won't have this election in November?
Um, I mean, I think there's a possibility that we won't have the election, but it would only be the way that I would say that we wouldn't have the election isn't in the same sense of what Kramer said, which is that we're going to destabilize effectively prior to that. We're going to hit system failure
Yes,
effectively
that
prior
is
to
right.
that.
Right.
I don't, what I would say would be the one thing that I could see that would prevent the midterm elections from occurring would be a huge moment of discovery of a lot of other evidence to a lot of other things that requires us to kind of say, hold up, wait a minute. We need to take a step back and stop trying to just move forward like these things didn't just happen. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
We're gonna have a moment where we're gonna say we need to go back to the drawing board and we need to really figure out what is going on and how we can fix this and have the individuals be held accountable. But I still like that's just an idea that I have. I still firmly believe that midterms are going to happen. I
Me
firmly
too.
believe that they're going to try to do the same thing that they did in 2020, but as we see in Arizona, it's not going to be able to work because the people are done. The numbers are there, the scales are tipped. It's over, right? We're effectively in now we're just in this like I said, we're in the middle of a long game, and we're in the midst of there being right now is the long game of when, like you were saying, when does the light come on? When do the lights
Right.
turn on and they say, okay, this is what's going on. This is how we're going to do it. This is what we've been doing to catch these individuals, et cetera, et cetera. And I see that happening um, honestly after I would say after midterms is when it will start. You get the ball
Okay.
rolling with local officials such as like Mark Fincham, right, the Secretary of
Okay.
State of Arizona, that was talking about
Okay.
military tribunals. Get that happen on a regional level so that you have 2 years of regional work that's being done. And then
Down.
once you get to 2024,
Down.
you then get the federal level of that taking place with Donald J. Trump getting his second term in office, right? Where then he gets to fully address everything in which that he ran on, right? That is
Yeah.
Prince
So
Blue
now that you brought
2024.
yeah. So now that you brought that up, Snacks is going to join us because you know Snacks can't stand not to be a part of the conversation. So he just texted me, so I sent him the link.
Okay, wait,
Now
I
that
think
you
you
said
sent it to me instead because I got the link.
that, did I? Did I
Yeah,
send it to
you
you?
might have. Yeah,
Snacks?
you
No,
might have
I
texted
didn't,
it to me.
Mikey. Oh Lord Jesus, you're right, Mikey. You know I love you. It's just I
I
keep
wasn't
Mikey
gonna
on.
say nothing about it. I wasn't gonna say nothing because I was like, I don't know why I just got the other link. Maybe that's my phone lagging. But
No. Okay. So anyway, I was talking to my brother about it, and I said, "What would it look like?" Why'd you say never mind, Snacks? Come on, I just sent you the link. Come get in the box. Don't never mind me. Let's go.
right, we're live. Come
Um,
on now.
look, we are live. Bring your ass in here. So anyways, I was talking to my brother about it, and we were talking about what it will look like when Trump returns in 2024. So the real panic right now is flipping the seats. And then the next part of that is what it will look like when Trump returns. And all I see is the ultimate exposure,
Right.
the ultimate
Right.
accountability.
Hey, AJ, you trying to jump in here, bro? Come on now.
You see how it happens? Snacks better come in here after I just took the time to send him this link. He better bring his ass in here right now. I'm not playing. Snacks, I know you hear me. Bring your ass in here right now.
Yeah, I want to hear AJ's perspective on it too,
I
because
just sent
I
it to
think,
him.
yeah, I think very similar to what you're saying too. Is I think that um, Trump's second term, man, you and Snacks both be playing these games, but nah, I'm good. It's like, but nah, but no, I think like what you said, I think that the second term is going to be the ultimate exposure. I mean, it's we know these things to be true. We have the evidence of these crimes that have occurred. We know who's involved. We know Prince Blue.
I'm done with Prince.
Uh,
I'm so done with
we
Prince.
we know the individuals that are involved. The only step to take next is accountability, and the accountability that I would see would be through either the DoD, which would be the Department of Defense through the military, or through citizen justice of individuals filing these cases with the federal, with the executive branch backing them the whole time, right? To then
Right.
to then make it so that we've reached the precipice where this does occur, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
that's the only two solutions in which that I see, either DOD or citizen justice, one of the two. And either way, we get what we want. This is why I say it's game over. I mean, it's game over for them. They are swiftly being put into checkmate if they're not already, because they're stuck. Where do you move at that point? If you're the deep state, how do you move at that point if you know that those are the only two outcomes that come from a second term of Trump's presidency, which they cannot stop? You
Right.
cannot stop the second
Right.
term of Trump. It is going to happen. It is inevitable. Thanos,
There
right?
he is.
I am inevitable. That is.
Oh wait, he went away. He came in and he went away. Oh, go ahead.
But no, like that's what I see is I think that they overplayed their cards. They thought that they were too smart. They thought that they would never be able to be caught. They also, as Q had posted too, they never thought that she would lose. And she
Mm-hmm.
being Hillary Clinton, they never thought that. They thought that their plan, their 16-year plan of 8 years of Obama to transfer to 8 years of Hillary, have us with Hillary during the lockdowns, they thought that that was a shoo-in. But they completely got diverted on that through the 4-year presidency of Trump. What's up, Snacks?
What's going
Look,
on, y'all?
look who's here.
Whatever.
Everyone knows.
Nobody want
Snacks is in
to hear
the
that shit from Keisha. She keeps discouraging my viewpoints. So I'm not listening to her right now.
I'm sorry.
But I'm
Wait a
on her
minute.
show.
Hold on. Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Be clear where you
Yeah,
at.
I was gonna say,
Nobody cares about your, nobody cares about the being your show. And a wonderful show you're having, so I want to say it is wonderful. But I also
Go ahead.
want us to also think another way, though. We also got to think that you ever notice how before the lockdowns they put the fear, like Mike was talking about don't look up with the anvil analogy. They have a movie called Don't Look Up for that reason and reason only.
Yeah.
right.
Because they have poisoned our minds to the point where.
Hold on, Snacks.
What's wrong?
I
Your
hear a
mic
little
is-
bit of crackling.
Yeah, your mic is crackling just a little bit. It's popping a little bit, but
All right.
but
I
yes.
thought maybe it
Is
was
that better?
me. They're saying you're
Here, talk-
breaking up.
Talk again.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
we
it's
hear
still
you. It's
kind
just
of.
like there's just like this crackling noise, like it's popping.
Mhm.
Hold on.
But no, to kind of go with that Don't Look Up movie, the
Is that
funny
better?
thing that I find, yeah, that sounds clearer.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, like you said about the Don't Look Up, huh?
Go ahead.
I was saying about the Don't Look Up movie is the fact that the Don't Look Up movie was real because they have poisoned our minds to the point where they say that an asteroid is coming. You refuse to look in the sky no matter what people are telling you. And
Right.
that the narrative that the analogy that Mike brought was spot on because that's the way they're doing it now. They're using make-believe and things of that nature without you investigating things. So
Right.
if you remember before we got locked down for Corona, the whole narrative was to scare us about the effects of getting Corona, all the things that Corona could do. Now look at it now. What are they doing now with the monkeypox?
Yes.
You see the monkeypox videos and stuff everywhere now. They're preparing to use monkeypox as a reason to lock us down in November. Because if they use monkeypox as a point to lock us down in November, that's when the 2,000 will show up. So they can lock us down and impact the ballot boxes. But we got to understand that if that lockdown happens, that has to be phase one of the revolt. You have to say, I will not be locked down. You can't make me locked down. You have to stand firm on that, because if you don't stand firm, then that means that all they got to do is scare you with a disease, and you will comply and lock down easily every time. Think about
and
it.
That's
They
exactly.
can make up any.
I was going to say that's exactly what Henry Kissinger was talking about too, right? Henry Kissinger talked about that in the Kissinger report. He said that if you can get the useless eaters, which is what they refer to us as, that just shows you how they think of us, right? If you can get the useless eaters to become fearful over any kind of a public health emergency and get them to either A, blindly take a vaccine, this is all in his writings, blindly take a vaccine, then you can then usher them to blindly give blood, give their organs for any reason in which that the state deems necessary, that the government would deem necessary. That's exactly what they're trying to do. And when it comes to like what you were saying, the first step of the revolt, I would say that we got to make sure that we also put in there peacefully doing that, right? Just like don't make it a thing where people are automatically going and grabbing their scraps and they're like, I'm not locking down. Just simply say, I will not stay within my home. This is my right to freely travel. This is my right to not be confined within my property or my space. I get to say over my what my actions are going to be. You do not tell me what I'm going to do. Then if they choose to become physical against us, well, then that's tyranny. And we all know what Thomas Jefferson said about people with tyranny. So,
and that's absolutely true. But see, phase one should have been the Corona lockdown. For all intents and purposes, when they locked us down for Corona, we supposed to be like, no, we're not.
Right.
For what? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They use it in a way, it's confirmation bias. It's actually what it is. Because once they took over the media, then the media has been taken over for a long time. All they got to do is say, listen, we need you to push all the coronavirus stuff that you can find. Push all the sicknesses and all the deaths about coronavirus. Now scare the people and let's see what they would do. For instance, people only locked down out of fear. They didn't look at their legal options for it. Because think about it, how many people complied to the mandate when the mandate was absolutely illegal from the door?
Yes.
It was just a paper put out. It wasn't nothing legislative. You see what I'm saying?
Right. AJ. Yeah, the mic went back to popping and crackling a little bit. We do have that.
Look at your boy. Look at AJ. Look at AJ. Wait.
I know that AJ's in the comments roasting.
Let's look at your boy. Look at your boy.
Roasting who? I can't see no
for $12,000. It says you would think for $12,000 the essentials would work.
Oh, shut up. AJ, I hate it. I'm watching you on two different screens, and I got all these screens watching you, and the microphone's not working.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not working.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't know.
Try again.
What are you gonna do? Maybe he should use one of the new mics and disconnect that one. I think it's that soundboard that be giving you the problems.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take the soundboard out, but I don't know how to do that right now. So.
Okay.
All right.
I don't get to lock.
I'm gonna turn the microphone down. Is that better?
No. And it's like delayed too. It's like you start talking and then it like is
delayed.
It's just whatever. Go ahead.
All right.
It's fine.
So yeah, it kind of looks like a bad Japanese movie.
Wait, where'd he go?
I think he said he was going to retry joining. But it kind of looked like a bad Japanese movie. You hear him talking and then you see his lips like.
But you know what though? Like that's like a great it's a great analogy, like you say. Like they make these movies and we don't pay attention, because when COVID first came out, I always said if it was as bad as they say, whole cities would die, just like the movie Outbreak, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd go to the movie theater and that's what would be happening.
Right.
So that's kind of like what I see, right? So I mean, ultimately at the end of the day and everything that we're going through right now, he's right. Like we have to be prepared to make a stand no matter what they say, no matter what they do. We have to be prepared to say nope.
Right.
Not gonna happen.
And it's very and it's I don't want to say it's very easy to do that because obviously there is going to be that second guessing that will occur when it comes to saying no to your government, right? There's some implications there that a lot of people will kind of hold themselves back from, but you also have to realize how long have you been blindly saying yes to your government?
Right.
And how healthy is that? So let's put it in the perspective of if you have kids, right? I don't have kids, but if you had a kid, right? and you were sitting there raising them under constantly just saying yes to whatever they asked for.
Right.
The second that you say no, they begin to, their mind doesn't know how to react to that, right?
Right.
Because it's
Right.
foreign to them. But at the same time, instilling that within your child of a healthy amount of no to a healthy balance of yes is not only cathartic for the individual saying no to them, but it's also very helpful for how the child will develop within that. And we have to look at that in the aspect of our government. We've blindly said yes to so many things that they never thought that they would be able to get away with. And we were just like, oh, yep, 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 sounds
Well,
good to
here's the
me.
thing. Want me to tell you the crazy part about it is it wasn't until Trump
Right,
that we really understood what was going on.
right,
If we're going to be really honest, it really wasn't until Trump became our president that we saw just what was truly happening. Like, I mean, I've always been a pretty free thinker, you see things, but it wasn't until he came along that things were just so blatantly obvious. And
right,
even though he's now out of office, we're seeing things like the abuse of power of the FBI, right? Like who really controls and who really runs these, three-letter, agencies, because they're out of control, right? And to
right,
see how we're using all of these resources to go after one man who is done nothing but expose the ugly just lets me know that every time someone said that person didn't hang themselves, it was real,
right,
because we're seeing it play out right before our eyes. Like we're
right,
literally seeing it play out right before our eyes. Everything's become a secret. Everything. You
yep,
can literally convict a whole entire person for trafficking children, but we don't know who she trafficked the children to.
right.
She was
Well,
the only single one that got any charges.
what did JFK say about secrets? We are a nation that is opposed to secrecy.
Secrets. Mm-hmm.
We are opposed to those that have intentions in which that they do not disclose with the people. We are opposed to subversion as opposed to invasion, right? Rather than armies by day, it's guerrillas by night.
Night.
And that's exactly
Snacks.
what
Are
we
you?
see.
Hold on one second, Mikey. Snacks. If you're still here, are you coming back? Because if you are, I want to make sure that you can say what you want to say. Go ahead, Mikey.
No, yeah, but that's the main thing. And then another thing too, that it gets a little conspiratorial, that he said was that we're opposed to secret societies. If you guys are still at the point where you don't think that there are organizations or societies, right, quote unquote, that are held to secrecy and that hold power and influence, and I would venture to say all, if not most, of the aspects of not only our country but our government, then like you have to wake up to that. You have to realize that there is more that is going on to these things. I mean, the Knights Templar is still a thing. Everybody
Right.
talks about the Knights Templar like they were in the past. Do you guys know that there's an entity on the United Nations that's called the Sovereign Knights of Malta? And they have the same symbol. They're not hiding, they hide in plain sight.
Well, no, they don't have to hide because no one really believes they exist and no one really believes they're
Exactly.
there.
That's why they just
So
hide.
you don't have to hide.
That's why they just, yeah, that's why they put themselves in plain sight, because then when somebody starts trying to say, "Hey, look over there, look at that. That's weird." Everybody else
Right.
is like, "Oh, well, like if it was really that big of a thing, why would they just be out in the open like that?" Because of what you just said. Because they want you to think that because they're out in the open, they couldn't have these other agendas at hand. But all of these entities are pushing for the same thing, which is sustainable development. If you look up what sustainable development is, it is effectively saying that they're going to change the framework of communities around the world to a sustainable future. Well, what is sustainable to a globalist? What is sustainable to somebody that is so detached from the general public? What are they going to
Right.
say is going to be okay for you to sustain yourself?
Right.
How are we going to trust the people that refer to us as useless eaters? as being able to tell us what is sustainable for us.
AJ, you have never been more correct.
Right. You ain't never lied, AJ. You ain't never lied, man. You ain't never lied, man.
That is a fact. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Talking about R. Kelly too. How does R. Kelly get 10 more years than Ghislaine Maxwell?
Oh, because there were people to attach it to, right? Like people who like testified and came forward.
Right.
You know,
but there were also people that testified against her too. Right?
Yeah. Were there?
Oh. Yeah.
Well, she didn't do it to them. She didn't do it to them, Mikey.
Right. She was just there. Even though I would venture to say that Epstein was just the patsy and that Ghislaine was actually the one running the operation because of who her father was and the ties that he had to multiple different intelligence agencies, whereas Epstein only had ties to the FBI and possibly.
We already know the bullshit behind it.
Right.
We already know. Already know. So we're not going to play the dumb game. Okay, we already know. The fact of the matter is there's a whole woman sitting in prison. I don't care if it's for 14 seconds, but we don't know why. Other than she did this. To who? Where? Who did it to them? Why haven't the people that she took the children, the girls for, to the island, where are those people and why haven't they been arrested?
Right.
Why? But we over here looking in Trump's safe. Still, I'm trying to figure this one out. Like I just cannot wrap my head around it. But I mean, it is what it is. But Mikey, we've come up on our whole hour.
I know, yeah, that went by really quick.
It did. So we kind of touched on it. We didn't really get exactly, Amanda, who else was involved exactly?
We want the name.
Minds want to know.
Right.
I don't think we'll ever know. Oh, we might know in 2024.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that we will know. I just don't think that it's another thing too that I would tell people, right, is impatience. When it comes to impatience, especially in this situation, we got to realize that, again, like I was saying, this isn't things that haven't happened or haven't been happening. We're just now aware that they are. It's like when you find a spider in your room, right?
Yeah.
When you see a spider in your room, that spider didn't just appear there once you'd seen it. It's been there, right?
Yes.
So we have to realize that if that is the case, and that this is something that is bigger than just on that micro level, we're not running on our time. We're running on some other form of time that is the perfect timing to be able to get everybody. Because if you're going after organized crime, you can't just get the whales at the top, but you also just can't get the minnows at the bottom. You have to get all of them, put them in a jar and dispose of that jar, right? And that's what I feel like we're in the midst of doing is we started with the minnows by attacking the whales. The minnows showed themselves. We're starting with that. And then we're going after now the whales to make sure that we can fully end this for what it truly is.
So Mikey, I want to pick this up on Tuesday.
Yep.
And I want to do some more research, and Snacks had a very good point. What proof do we have that she's in jail?
Yeah, all we know is that she was transferred from a maximum security prison to a minimum security prison in Tallahassee, where she can learn how to bake, do Pilates, wear her jewelry if she wants, and she can wear a khaki dress.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck. Who cares? Yeah. So with that being said, we want to thank everybody for coming. I want to let everybody know that ajsrantroom.com.
Yes, I was just about to plug that.
This right here came from the women's collection. The Black Series, which is fucking fire, AJ, has released. So I want everyone to go to ajsrantroom.com and buy something and support our fellow guy. He also has a YouTube that you can subscribe to. We also want to thank Macho from The Morning Fix. He also has a YouTube and a Telegram under The Morning Fix, and he's on every day during the week. And I think that Mr. Full Service is going to pick up on the weekends, so that should be pretty exciting.
Sweet.
Yes. And then also Dumpster Fire TV, the amazing people that allow us to do this and have free speech and talk openly with you guys. Also has a website that has merchandise if anybody wants to go there also and purchase. But once again, we love each and every one of you. We thank you guys. And we're going to pick this conversation up on Tuesday. And I encourage anyone who would like to join us, who has something that they would like to add to this conversation, I encourage you guys to message me. And let's get you guys on and let's have some dialogue other than me and Mikey. Yes. And as AJ would say, YouTube right here, bitches.
Real quick,
go ahead, Mikey.
Just one thing. I don't really have any other plugs to give besides what she's given. Once I have my platform up and running, this website that I'm working on, I'll be plugging that for you guys, so you guys can go out there and check out any and all research that I've done with the links that I've gathered.
Yes.
But one thing I do want to say is public service announcement. Nat is absolutely beautiful and the most gorgeous girl, and she's the biggest blessing in my life. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate all of you guys. You guys are amazing. We always appreciate the support. Stand firm in knowing that this is not something that is just to the wayside. We are not witnessing the destruction of everything in which that we view for ourselves. I believe that we are witnessing a transition into a new future, and a future that is a lot brighter than anything that we could possibly imagine. And I want to send you off with that strongly and firmly. I know that people can think that it's just conjecture and hopeful or wishful thinking, but I firmly, firmly, firmly believe that. So thank you guys.
Hi, Nat. Mikey, that's not how you end these things. What are you supposed to say?
Oh, yeah. And y'all know what it is. Be fruitful and multiply. Don't be fruity and blow a guy. God bless.
Have a good one. Love you, Nat.